Even when he sits, if the file is not before the judge, what is he to do? She's to adjourn. Process has to be served. It was not served. The law says there must be proof of service in my court file before I proceed. What will the judge do? He adjourn. And that's why I advocated, yes, I know computerization, all this. Hey, how many of us, how many of these support staff are computer literate? How many of them can operate this system? So I recommended what I refer to as manual automation of court process and system, where it can be done by practice direction or by guideline, where a registrar will know that once a file is filed today, a case is filed today, that file cannot stay in your office more than 2 days. Nobody asks question. Why will you take the whole 30 days to move a file from the CJ's office to the next court, next door court?
But what was responsible for that?
Now, because, you see, that's what I'm saying. Because nobody is performing that oversight function.
So there's a gap there.
No, there's a gap there. And because there's no rule. And that's why I've always advocated, and as many of us share that view, that there must be effective court administration. So we must have a court administrator. We are now in that age now. Different from the chief registrar, different from the CJ. There must be a court administrator who will oversee all these functions to ensure that a file should not spend more than 2 days in a particular office for whatever any reason. But the rules, and the way it's being operated created that gap. And people do what? Takes advantage. They exploited it. And still exploit it till there. And that's why you want to ask for CTC of a judgment that was delivered. You'll be shocked that at times it takes you 2-3 weeks to get it. Why? I'm told it's with the secretary. So the judge is typing. And the registrar say I'm proofreading. And before the judge now see and sign. And all this can take you 2 weeks. Nobody will raise question. What are you being paid for every month? It will eradicate, if not, it will reduce, if not totally eradicate corruption, even in the justice system, within the enclave of the support staff, because that's where it is.
If we were to have court administrators like you've suggested, who should see to that? Where does the responsibility lie?
No, I think it's the responsibility of the CJ, of each state, and the CJ and the Judicial Council, the NJC, or JSC of each state should see that, yes, we have a court administrator, not by name, that they will allow to function.
The issue of stopping police officers who have no law degree from prosecuting cases before magistrates, it's an issue that continues to come up again and again. Where do you stand on that?
Yes, I think it's very important that we stand on it. You know why? We have moved away from even those years where we used to have lay magistrates. In the past, we have lay magistrates. They are not lawyers, but they are magistrates. But we have developed beyond that. You now use a police prosecutor who is not a lawyer. Oh, surely he's going to contend with who? A lawyer on the other side. The judge, a lawyer too, or the magistrate, a lawyer. I don't see equity there. So it's very important to me. Sorry to them if they want to, let them go and read law. Sorry, we must maintain that we must try as much as we can to ensure that any police prosecutor must have what we call legal training.
This move to appoint senior lawyers to the bench, what do you think of that?
There's a starting point for everything. If you've got to have change, it has been done in the past before. It's not new that they bring people from the university, from outside, and inject them into the judiciary so that we can have a blend. It is the management of that process that is important.
So you support it?
So I support it. It's the management of that process. So that those that are there too, they are not disenfranchised, so to say. If you are going to appoint somebody to be in the Supreme Court, that should not debar those that ought to maybe elevated one way or the other. And there must be quality. And that's one thing we are trying to get. There must be quality. So and that's why the appointment process should actually be reviewed and should be more rigorously, processed, so that we have the best of those that were interested to go to the bench. But we should try and strive to get the best out of the system, either from the lower bench to the high bench, or from those practicing that have flair and are interested in that service. We should not, discourage it, but it should be managed properly.
One of the issues that came up at the Stakeholder Summit for Administration of Criminal Justice in Lagos, I think Mr. Falana mentioned it, is why is a person good enough to be Chief Registrar or DPP in Lagos, but not good enough to be a judge? Is that a policy that Lagos has?
If that person has been in your service, he has done this, he has done that, and he has rose to CR, he rose to number DPP, he rose to Director Civil, he rose to, when it is time to now become a judge, if he's interested, hey, I will not be a party to say don't give that person. And I know even next door Ogun State here will never even allow a Lagosian to be a commissioner in the state, no matter how good, no matter how close to him, to the governor. I have experience. Somebody left Lagos here, was a commissioner in Lagos here, and was to be taken to Ogun State to also be a commissioner. Physical planning precisely. He got there, what he could get is special advisor. They told him, where are you from? Are you from any of these places in Ogun State? No. So to me, like I said, we have to face reality. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It's not that Lagos, no. Lagos should be commended. And I love what Falana said. He said then we will have to talk to other states governors. That if Lagos is doing this, accommodating you, the one that is even more paining, even if you have trained them here, these same people that were trained in Lagos, in their own state there, they will revolt against them. They say, where were they? They didn't practice. Not that they have not from that state, that they didn't practice there. And it will be the best quality because without being immodest, you practice in Lagos. That's where we have the Lagos, Ibadan, that's why the Port Harcourt, the major cities. You have the best of legal training there.
Because you have diverse experience.
Diverse experience. If they do the interview, he will be the one that will come first. But it will now be said, no, though he's from our state, he has not been practicing here. Let him go back to Lagos. Can you see that? That's life story. So they should not misunderstand Lagos when we say that. And I've always said it's simple. Lagos is cosmopolitan like any other state. If you have 10 appointments to do, please recognize, give 5 to Lagos, distribute the 5 to others that constitute Lagos. But not to consider them is what is not fair. And nobody, no state will accept it.